that electron is basically shared with the oxygen, and oxygen's got some other electrons hanging out over here, electron pairs. So that's, again, let me get into the shells a bit. But because the hydrogens are not completely opposite of each other, but are hanging out on one side together, it is polarized, which might have been what you were going for, I'm not 100% sure. So it is a polarized molecule. And this side down here, because the electron is being shared over here, this side over here tends to be positive, because I have electrons hanging out over here, that side is negative. And so there is a positive and negative side. If I have an electron that can easily be ripped away, it can come over here. And so the more humidity there is, the worse that the experiment gets. It is in the summertime when we've done the Coulomb's constant experiment, when we start getting negative values, which you could say, hey, that's not right, or you could say, yet one more Nobel Prize coming to us.
Is it just humidity, or does temperature also make a difference?
Humidity is very much related to the temperature, so that would be the connection. But I have not dealt with if you had low humidity but high temperature. So if I did this in Arizona, I don't know. I think it would still work well, because I think humidity is the primary villain here. I don't think the increase in speed of the particles, the higher temperature, is going to be enough to make a difference, but I do not know for sure. All right. So, oh, by the way, it's charged now. How do I uncharge it? Or discharge it?
Put the fur on it.
Put the fur on it? Oh, if the first positively charged and that's negatively charged, okay, that might work. There's a simpler way.
You could touch it.
Pardon?
You could just touch it.
Yeah, just touch it.
Like if you touch your
If I have excess electrons here, and remember, electrons hate each other. They absolutely do. They love protons, but they hate each other. And so the electrons are trying to get away from each other, but right now they have nowhere to go. They are stuck in there in a sort of a living hell for them. Glass is an insulator. The top right here, this metal bulb it is metal. It is a good conductor. But right here, it's a piece of what I believe is bakelite. It is an insulator. So there's no connection between the metal box here and the metal top. And so just touching the box shouldn't do anything. But if the electrons hate each other, they're looking for some place that they can go. If I just touch that, the leaves go back together again, because I basically took the electrons off. Now, why do I have this special power? Well, because I'm large enough that the excess electrons here can spread out more easily over my body than they can there. I am what is known as a ground in that case. A ground is a place that either will, if it's positively charged, it will provide electrons. If it's negatively charged, it will take electrons off its hand. Hands up. The biggest ground we have is
ground?
Yes. How do they come up with these names? All right, so I'm going to charge it up again. I know that the PVC pipe will be negatively charged because the triboelectric effect, and I've looked at the chart. This is going to come closer. The leaves will start spreading apart. I don't touch it, but the leaves do spread apart. I pull this away and the leaves go back to normal. So why do the leaves spread apart?
Because the electrons hate each other.
And?
They're
Yep. Right so far? I missed what was said over here?
like charges, so they tell. That's the same thing you said. Never mind.
They just try to take up all the available space to get away.
So which electrons take up all the available space to get away?
Like
The blue ones. No.
Blue.
I mean, there's electrons on the PVC pipe and there's electrons in here. So which?
Oh, the ones in the box.
The ones in the box, okay, they're trying to get away from?
The ones on the PVC pipe.
Yeah. So I got a whole bunch of electrons. I got the barbarian horde coming in here, and these electrons right here, or no, I got the Romans invading Britain. You got the tribes that suddenly scatter into Scotland and Ireland, the two leaves down there. Now, they can't stand each other, so they're gonna try to stay away from each other as much as possible, but they fear the Roman hordes coming in more than anything. And then when the Roman hordes go away, unlike what happened in Britain, the electrons go back to where they were. But if I touch it, they spread apart, they go back together. If I touch it, they spread apart even more. Why do they stay apart?
The contact transfer the electrons.
So electrons really, if they're gonna transfer, they like contact. Now, not always. What is it, if they don't require contact, if the electrons just jump from one object to the other, what do we generally call that in everyday life?
Static.
Static would be the charge is basically built up, but when it jumps,
Shock.
okay, I was thinking spark, but yeah. All right, so I touched it to it, and notice I did rub the rod against the ball there just to get more of it. Why can I not just touch this and all the electrons from the PVC pipe go onto the electroscope?
Because it's no longer charged.
All right, let me change the question. Why don't all those excess electrons that hate each other on this PVC pipe just go into me? I'm a large ground compared to it.
Is it the same reason that the fur charged the PVC pipe instead of the PVC pipe charging the fur?
No. I think I can safely say no. There's definitely easier explanation, but I believe they are unrelated properties. I was trying to see if somehow connect those, but I'm having difficulty doing that.
It's
not enough.
Could you ask the question again?
Why don't the excess electrons on the PVC pipe just come into me? Since I'm much larger than the PVC pipe, I would act as a ground to it.
Is it because you were already holding the PVC when you charged it?
Oh, so I'm already charged?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Or not in any significant amount. Suppose I took right, I've got what I assume is aluminum. I'm gonna rub it against here. Now, according to the triboelectric chart, the electrons should be transferred to the metal rod. What's gonna happen now when I let's neutralize this. All right, when I bring the metal rod towards it, what's gonna happen? Oh, that's really unexciting. They did move when I tapped it, but that was mechanical. Why does this not work as well as the PVC pipe?
Is it because that's a conductor?
And that?
It's an insulator?
So in an insulator, charges cannot move easily. And so that's why the charges on the pipe are not being, on the PVC pipe are not being transferred to me, and why if I just touch it, only the charges in that localized area where I touch it are gonna actually be transferred. So if I rub it on there, I'm gonna expose it to more surface area and get more electrons on it. All right, so I bring the threat from the Roman hordes down in towards this. I touch it, the Romans have invaded. Ireland and Scotland are now populated. I thought there was another point there, but I think I'm just repeating myself, so. All right. Next up, where are we in time? Okay, plenty of time to shock somebody. Now this is full of charge right now. How can I discharge it?
Touch it all. There you you go.
Like that? I would do that again. Yeah, just to any ground. I did suggest, we have a clean room here, for the nanotech, when nanotech was here. And it did suggest that in the summertime, if we could use that room, because it's humidity controlled, we would get some better experiments in the summertime. And for some reason, they thought having little bits of fur in a clean room was not a good idea. All right, so. Van der Graaf generator. Named after? There we go. And just a side note, Van der Graaf worked with one other physicist at MIT to create this. What was his name?
Cool.
No.
Tesla.
No.
Einstein.
No.
Newton.
This was done much more recently than that. This was probably the 50s. Einstein was alive, but the rest of the people I think were dead by then.
Oppenheimer.
Trump. The 45's uncle. When he said, I understand this stuff because my uncle was a physicist, or did that at one point, was a scientist. His uncle actually worked on this. And the intelligence ended there. Sorry, I should be apolitical. I will do my best. But obviously, the bitterness is still there.
Oh. I know what this is.
All right, so what's gonna happen here? Now, the last time I removed the screws, a couple years ago, I lost them. So the screws are right here. There's one, there's two. All right, the screws are right here. I will fix it later. The belt is on this green fabric right here. When I turn it on, the belt's gonna slip a little bit, and by slipping, we get the rubbing going on, electrons will be transferred. Actually, electrons will be transferred from the belt onto the fabric right here. This metal grating, the electrons will have, this will have excess electrons, the electrons will be shifted onto here and then taken elsewhere. That should be connected to a ground. We now have a positively charged belt coming up to here. The positively charged belt will draw electrons off of this onto the belt. The electrons will then move down to here, be then transferred off. On the top, I saw it too early, on the top here, we have a belt up there, and we have another metal grid. I want the teeth here, this metal grid's got basically bits of metal sticking down. I want it as close as I can get to the belt for easier transfer. But if it's too close, it's gonna rip the belt, and I've done that before. I prefer not to. Now, this was a demonstration where I mentioned Kenneth earlier, and shocking Kenneth. This was the one earlier, because before I found this wand right here, and before I had a rubber glove with me, we had this little bit right here. This was attached to a base. The belt was much better at that time, and I was being very timid about it. And this was attached to a base that I was holding like this. And Kenneth said, "Crank it up, Dr. Fox, crank it up." I said, no, I don't think so. He said, "All right, I'll hold it." Okay. So we cranked it up all the way, and he was about this far away from it. The metal ball was right here, but his fingers were on the side of this metal block that was on, and a spark jumped from there to his fingers. No one filmed it. It didn't actually happen legally. No, he was fine. He was fine. However, it was a lesson. I guess that was my fault. I was responsible. All right, so I've shocked 2 students. Now, unfortunately, this sometimes gets charged. There's an on-off switch here, and I have shocked myself when I tried to turn it off. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this into here and control on-off from here. Alright, there's actually here the pop and the various sparks. Can't really see the sparks right now. It probably is still charged, but we can test that out if you listen. And again, summertime, they'd be dead by now. There we go. Now let's see if we can now this is charged. It is positively charged because that became positively charged, and we can discharge this by just touching it to something perfectly non-human. Let's see if we can still get another charge here. I don't know if you saw that one. I'm able to see it, but I'm closer. Anyone else can see the spark? All right, let's see if we can get a better spark. It's time to go. Ow. All right, so now what I'm going to do, it is charged at the moment. We should discharge it. I did have a student a number of years ago who just really liked the sensation. That was his thing. I did not explore that anymore. So he would discharge it. He said, "Oh, Dr. Frost, can I touch it?" Yeah, sure. However, unless there's somebody in here who wants to touch it, I will discharge it the slower way. Did you want to?
Yes.
If he does it, I wanna do it.
Okay, so what do I do? I just.
Get your hand close. It's gonna probably hurt.
Is it?
I suspect it will, but. You have a bad heart?
No.
Okay.
I just felt like the fan.
Oh, yeah, it is still charged.
Thank you.
You
I didn't express some interest in.
Okay, I got this.
Did you actually touch it?
No.
No. Well, I'm
When you
scared.
get closer, you can like feel.
Oh, I felt it. Can't touch it, touch it.
If you want, I don't know.
Oh, it's not bad. It
Okay.
didn't hurt. It was tiny. I do not like the sensation of it. Not like that guy.
Yeah.
Can we do it again?
All right, I am about to charge it up again. There it is. All right. So I have a packing peanut right here. Hopefully, there we go, contrast it. I am going to get it close to it. This is neutral. So as I get it close to there, what should happen? That's going to be positively charged. This is neutral.
You should stick to it.
Is that what?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It should move to it, like stick to it.
Yeah.
Why? Because positive and neutral attract.
Well, they're not opposites, but they're not alike.
They are. That is true. Brian, you look like you wanted to speculate.
Shouldn't the packing peanut like get the charge of the?
Oh, as in electrons will shoot over? Not at the distance I'm going to be. It's still going to filter the blood that goes through. All right, let's do it this way. Come on. That was incredibly bad.
Place it on the little
Come on. Now, So why it was neutral before, if there were no charges transferred, we'll make that assumption for right now. Well, actually, at this point, I believe they work it. It's getting pulled up towards it. Doesn't want to let go. No, you know what? Come on. We can do this. Oh, it's a new belt, maybe that's the problem. The fact that it's more powerful than what we used to. I'm too scared. I was doing some wiring in the house years ago. And my wife supposedly dealt with the power, and I said, hey, did you cut the power off? She said, oh yeah. Flip the light switch didn't come on. Turns out that outlet was on a different circuit.
Oh.
Is the electric fence working? Let's find out. Yes, it was. You wanted to touch it again?
No, I'm good. Now that's
I'll touch
definitely
it.
more charged.
Okay.
It'll probably hurt.
I got a question.
Yes.
So what would happen if you just held the metal ball to it?
Is it neutral now?
Yeah, now it is.
Thank you.
Okay. It would just charge faster. Up to a certain, and we'll keep charging until you basically reach an equilibrium. Static
This
equilibrium.
was like,
Well, we're done at 50 or 45?
45.
Then the last, oh, is that actually the correct time? It is. The clock says it's time to go. Maybe we'll bring this out tomorrow if there's something enough